So we have very poor water quality in Vegas.
Really?
So yeah, one of the worst. So we have very hard water, so it destroys the plumbing, increases the rate at which everything starts to fail.
Welcome to Ask Alexis, the space where we dive deep into all things real estate, business, life, and fitness. And I can't wait to bring you even more value. Hey everybody, today I have with me Joshua Merrill. He is with Monkey Plumbing or Monkey Wrench Plumbing.
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about you, Joshua. Who are you?
So my name is Joshua Merrill, like she said. I'm a plumber out here in Las Vegas, Nevada. I have my own plumbing company with two other partners. Been in this industry for about 5 years, but my partner's been a little over a decade. Great industry. I have 2 kids, a beautiful wife, family. A lot of cool stuff. I guess we'll find out more details. It's kind of hard to throw it all out there at once. So.
Right. How'd you get started with this industry and with your partners? How'd that happen?
So I actually initially had a different business before this. It was called My Mood Candle. It's a candle business. But couldn't see any way to scale it. Kind of just stuck in the rat race of it. So I knew I had to kind of switch things up. So always heard plumbing was a good industry to get into. Went to a school, applied at the school, got into it, instantly fell in love with it. It was kind of the right fit for me. Mm-hmm. And then from there, kind of just been working in the industry, working my way up from labor up all the way in to the point where you make the connections, meet the right people. Then you kind of think, okay, this is the time to kind of branch off onto my own, you know?
Okay.
Yeah.
How did you stumble with your partners?
From a prior company.
From a prior company?
Yeah, we worked together. Yep.
And you guys started this company yourselves?
Yeah, the new one, Monkey Wrench Plumbing.
That's insane.
Yeah, it's cool stuff.
So to go from 5 years working under different, businesses and then deciding, you know what, we could absolutely do this ourselves and be a lot more profitable and deal with it on our terms in terms of how you deal with things. So that's pretty inspiring because that's a quick transition, right?
Yes. Yeah, and it's a big thing, too, is because when you work at a different company, a different place, you start to see the things that they do wrong or the things that they could do better. You try to give input, but your input goes nowhere, goes right over their head. Mm-hmm. So it's one of those things that kind of fuels you up, like, what, I think I could do this better. And me and my 2 partners both felt the same way.
Is that how many people are part of your team, or do you guys have more guys? How does that look
we have an office manager right now as well, but right now it's just us. It's a pretty small operation. We plan on hiring next month and slowly start to go from there.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how are you getting your clientele right now?
A lot of different things. So one, that's where we met, was the farmer's market.
Yes.
Yeah. So we go to the farmer's market, set up a booth. Shout out to the Las Vegas Farmer's Market. We go to the one on Thursday at Green Valley District. That's 9 to 1. And then we go to the Uncommons every Sunday, 10 to 2.
Okay.
So we set up a booth, get to meet the community, say hi, this is what we do, this is what we offer. Would you be interested in kind of getting to meet us, have us come out to your house and show us what we're worth,
Okay.
Yeah.
And do you guys do like free assessments? What's your kind of take on, should people call you before something goes wrong or when something goes wrong? What's the ideal kind of?
Either way, but it's more ideal for you to be preventative, right?
Okay.
So typically our company likes to focus on the preventative care, the small repairs. Most companies kind of focus on the big replacements. That's their bread and butter. We focus on the small things, right? We want to prevent you from getting to that big repair. So you call us out to do inspections, diagnostics, and give our recommendations to see what's the best way to prevent you from getting into that situation where you're spending $20,000 to $30,000 for a whole water line repipe or $40,000 for a sewer redrain. All those costly, nasty things you don't want to deal with as a homeowner. That's our responsibility to come in. We come in and show you, like, hey, if you take care of this now, this could prevent you from A or B, right? So that's our main focus, is the smaller things, the preventative things, and making sure that we lead to the right spot where we need to with the homeowner.
How often should it be serviced in terms of plumbing and?
So typically yearly is a good way to go.
Okay.
Right? If you get someone out once a year to kind of just assess things, you want to flush your water here. That's a big one because over time as the water comes in from the city main, the sediment has a higher density than water. It's heavier. Falls to the bottom of the tank and you have all this nasty debris and stuff inside of it. You want to flush it out once a year to increase efficiency and increase longevity of it, right? So you want to flush it once a year to make sure it lasts long. So that's one aspect. You want to test the water quality because water quality is always changing. You want to check pressure because pressure is one of the leading indications to what could go wrong. So we actually have a saying in the plumbing industry called PLAC: pressure, lack of care, age of home, and quality of water. So those are all the things that will kind of lead to complications, right?
Right.
Yeah.
What is one of the biggest complication situations that you've seen thus far?
Well, one of the most consistent will be water quality.
Okay.
So we have very poor water quality in Vegas.
Really?
So yeah, one of the worst. So we have very hard water, so it destroys the plumbing, increases the rate at which everything starts to fail. So that's one of the big things. One of the worst things that can happen to you, though, to kind of answer your question, is those big major replacements like a repipe, redrain. That's where all your plumbing lines, either the water lines or the sewer lines, are completely deteriorated, completely failed, and there's no fixing it, right? There's no fix this one, Band-Aid fix this one. It's basically at this point, it's time to replace all of them.
Wow.
So that's the main thing you want to avoid, because those are the nightmare scenarios. You have a team of guys in your house for up to a week, tearing up your house, breaking up concrete, tearing up drywall. It's not fun to be in. So, and it's very costly. So that's what you want to avoid.
I definitely want to look into preparing for that, because that could ultimately take somebody's savings away.
Yeah, definitely. And I've been in situations where I've seen people cry in front of me. They need a shoulder to cry on, a hug, because they have no funds whatsoever. Their credit's not good. They have no capital to spend on their home. They're in a bad spot. And at that point, there's not really much that could be done, So, yeah, it's a wake-up call for me in the industry, too, to kind of always make sure you're taking care of things before they fail. And it applies to everything, your car, your house, everything, right? Mm-hmm. So, yeah, it sucks. I see a lot of worst-case scenarios. I see a lot of heartbreak, a lot of tear-jerking moments. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's hard. And you said that hard water is really predominant here. So how is that something that homeowners can, prevent? Is it just making sure that you're going out and doing the small details that you had mentioned before? Is there other things that they can do?
So, yeah, you want to test the water, right, and see where you're at. You could always install filters or softeners or some form of treatment to prevent it. But every house is slightly different, So some people might, 12 grains might still be hard, but it's not as hard as 25 grains. So every home is different. So that's kind of the main first thing you want to tackle is the knowledge, the education, see where you're at within your home and see what you're actually dealing with,
So would you highly recommend water softeners for?
I would for most cases. Yes.
Okay.
For most cases, yes. There's little nuances that come into it, not to get too technical, right? But with softeners, there's a downside. The softener deteriorates a sacrificial rod inside the water heater quickly.
Okay.
More quicker than average. So there's a misconception that the softeners destroy the water heaters. But if you're on top of replacement of that rod in the water heater, it will actually prevent the water heater from failing quickly. And also you're protecting the piping in your home. So there's nuance. There's a lot of misinformation out there, a lot of bad information. So it's kind of hard to find the right person to kind of educate you on things. But that's the role we're trying to serve, right? We don't want to just go there and sell you a whole new house. We want to go there and kind of educate you and let you know the foundation and go from there.
I like that. Do you guys do any webinars or kind of?
Not yet.
Is that kind of something in the works? Because that would be really, I think, beneficial, right? To just be able to have that a little bit more in-depth conversation. Now, not everybody cares about the nitty and gritty, but at least to give them that educational side of things, because I'm sure that people have units in their homes that need
that they
service.
keep ignoring. They keep I don't want to look at it.
But as you've said, it's better to start having those conversations now and start doing the little maintenance, which, I mean, it does cost money, but it's going to cost substantially less than when a major issue is to arise, right?
Yeah.
Does our heat play a huge factor in? Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
So the sun destroys stuff. So you want to make sure anything outside is properly insulated.
Okay.
So the sun directly, direct sun rays will destroy stuff at a quicker rate. Most stuff is usually within the home. So, it's insulated. It's usually pretty good, but anything exposed to the sun will be destroyed quickly, right? So the heat does have some role. It's not the main focus, but it can cause complications.
Is there any specific neighborhood in Las Vegas that you've seen that has constant plumbing issues?
A lot of the older communities, just because of the age. But Old Henderson has a lot of complications. The East Side has a lot of complications. But it's even though you might have one part of town, each community within that part of town will range.
Right.
So it's who built the home, what type of material they use, how hard is the water coming in, what's the pressure set at within that community, do they have pressure regulating valves? There's a lot of things that will determine a specific area. So there's not really like a blanket coat that you could kind of give over the whole community. It's kind of based off of house by house, neighborhood by neighborhood.
What should buyers do when they're going and, doing their inspections and things like that? What's something that they should know before purchasing a home pertaining to plumbing? Like, what's a red flag? Like, we're not inspectors ourselves.
Yeah, of course.
But what are good signs, bad signs?
That's a great question. Always opt in for the sewer inspection. So
Okay.
Always opt in for the sewer inspection, because I've seen it so many times where on both sides of it. So got into someone's home, they just bought the house 6 months ago. They're having sewer issues. They think it might be like a soft blockage, something small. We've run the camera and the whole sewer line's messed up. It's hard to see the sewer line unless you actually go in with the camera. So I know some inspectors will charge like a fee to run the camera. Always opt in for it, right? Or call a plumber like one of us to come out to inspect the sewer line before buying it. That's huge, because that is the most costly and worst case scenario, because those sewer lines, they're all underneath the slab, they're all underneath the ground. Accessibility is very limited. So to be able to get to those pipes and actually fix them is a nightmare. So, and on the other case scenario too, I've been into homes where someone's selling the house and say, I run the camera, I'm like, hey, you actually have a bad sewer line, it's broken, there's roots. They're like, I'm selling in like 3 months, I don't care. So I see both sides of it. So that would be my biggest recommendation if I could give just one to a homeowner buying a home. Always opt in for the sewer inspection.
That's great advice, because that could cost them thousands.
Oh yeah, yeah, it could be bad. Yeah.
Even with the cost of homes right now, I mean, certain, individuals are already suffering to get into a home. So to have something like that be added onto their plate would just...
It's devastating.
Yeah, it's devastating, especially because there is nobody to call when you are the homeowner, right?
Yeah.
You don't get to call the landlord anymore because it's now your responsibility.
Yeah.
So that's insane. Are there any upgrades that can add value?
So when it comes to selling the house?
Yeah.
Probably the tankless is the best one.
Okay.
And I'm sure you're aware of this. There's never really like a one-to-one value increase, but the best bang for your buck, if you were trying to increase value, would probably be the tankless, because most new homeowners are kind of interested in tankless heaters. They don't fail as often. They're not leaking out as often. They last longer, and they're more convenient. So that's probably one of them. And then obviously, if you have done a major replacement, it's like a necessity, but also adds value. Like you're buying a house from 1965, but you see that they had all new plumbing installed, right? So it's going to add value that way, because that's one of the fears people go into when buying an older home, correct?
Right.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of older homes in the valley, like especially what you said over in Henderson, East Las Vegas. I mean, that's where it all started.
Yes, exactly. That's the foundation.
That's the foundation of Las Vegas.
Yeah.
So what do you enjoy about this job? What are some things that are the best parts of your day?
So, just to give a testimonial, right? So it is cool helping people, right? I know it sounds cliche, but
no, it is.
We have one lady that we just did a big job at, and we call her like every week to check in on her. She was kind of going through a lot before all this chaos happened to her, and then she had to go through even more chaos while we're doing the job. But after everything was complete, it's like she had almost like a whole mentality switch on what her priorities were and how she wants to take care of her home. She started organizing things more, cleaning things more, really taking care of her home because of that. So it's cool with those relationships to kind of check in and see how they're doing. And, that's a cool part of it. There's a lot of cool things that go along with it. But yeah, that's probably one of them, if I was to give a cliche answer. Right?
No, I love it, because that's what we're in the business.
It's people.
We are in the business of people. Exactly. Yeah. And with that, we are just solving their problems because they can't do it themselves or they just need assistance. Yeah. And that's the beauty in it is everybody is kind of designed here to help one another. Like this isn't just an I sport. Like everything that we do is with one another.
Yes. 100%.
Like you don't go and do your own physical checks, right? You go to a doctor, somebody that took time and things. But that doctor on the flip side doesn't go and work on his own plumbing.
Yeah. Or his car or truck or whatever.
Yes, of course.
Yeah. We're a community, right? Like that's part of being a community. You have the doctor, you have the shopkeeper, you have the plumber, right? It's just like that's what it takes to have a successful community as well.
Yes, absolutely. What is one thing that you would tell younger Joshua?
Oh, that's a tough one on the spot. Let's see. Stop being lazy at those certain moments of procrastination. Like really, really dive deep and push yourself to go past what you're making for the excuses you make in your head. Like, I'm too busy on this or I'm doing too much on that. Just go for it and stop procrastinating. That's probably one of the ones I would tell my younger self,
Well, it looks like you really dialed in the last the last 5 years. I think that you actually really took that advice, and I think you already had that conversation with yourself. Well, I really do appreciate you coming here. How can people find you? If somebody is needing service or just wants to get an assessment done on their home to see what could possibly needed to be fixed right now, how can they get a hold of you?
Yeah. So the best way is the phone number, the office number, 702-900-5992. If you mention the podcast with Alexis, no service fee, no nothing will come out, okay? Another thing is monkeywrenchplumbinglv.com. And then we have social media on Instagram, Monkey Wrench Plumbing LV, Facebook, Monkey Wrench Plumbing LV. So either way, but the phone number is going to be the most direct, right? But if you want to send us a message on Facebook or Instagram or go on the website and book us from there, it's however people want to do it.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I like it. Yeah. And I mean, if there's one thing that I really got out of this is just make sure that you are doing that preventative maintenance beforehand. Don't wait when there's a water burst or when something just doesn't seem right. Let's do it now. And if you are selling or buying, like he said, opt in. Do those little things that are going to maybe cost you $100 now, but they're going to save you thousands of dollars later.
Exactly.
So you suffer now or you suffer later. No, just kidding.
You have to suffer. No.
You have to suffer. How much do you want to suffer? I'll see you guys next week. Thank you. Welcome to Ask Alexis, the space where we dive deep into all things real estate, business, life, and fitness. And I can't wait to bring you even more value.